But there was a certain comment on that video.
Oh, Lord.
I have to zoom in on it.
Yeah, I'm going to let times. Do you want me to read this again?
It's from Real MADDOX.
Yeah, I know. It's just...
Great video. You should look into Justin Wang. I recently covered some of his plagiarism.
What do you think of that MADDOX voice?
It's pretty MADDOX-y.
So, MADDOX. Do you want to try to explain who MADDOX... What is your understanding of MADDOX? I've known MADDOX since, 2007.
My introduction to this whole universe...
Come closer.
Oh, God.
Come closer.
My introduction to this whole universe was I was working overnights at a gas station, and I listened to the Drunken Peasants podcast quite often, almost every night. They weren't live streaming. I would listen to the backlogs and whatever. They had MADDOX and Dick on one week after the other. I think the podcast, The Biggest Problem in the Universe, had just broken up, and they were telling the sides of their story, and I didn't really have an opinion on the sides of the story, except for, wow, Dick sounds a lot cooler than MADDOX. So then I listened to The Biggest Problem in the Universe. I think actually what happened, I got halfway into the Drunken Peasants episode where they were just talking about a bunch of stuff that, I think it was the Dick one, where they were just dumping lore, and I have no idea what any of this means.
Yeah.
And so then I started listening to The Biggest Problem in the Universe, and I don't know. I've always liked Dick more than I've liked MADDOX. I don't really understand MADDOX.
He's a crazy person.
He is a crazy person, yeah.
I think what made MADDOX interesting to people like me is that...
He did blur me out of one of his videos, though.
I think he just had so little experience with socialization that he... in order to try to make himself act more like normal people, he came up with all these weird systems and regimes. But, his goal wasn't to be, well, I shouldn't say normal. His goal was to be, superior. He just wanted to be, the ultimate human. And so he built all these weird ideas of how to do that. And most of them are really asinine and backwards. But a lot of people who can relate to just being that way... when I was in my early 20s, that was the way I thought. Was I'm going to convince myself to do this, and then I'm going to build this whole scheme of how I'm going to convince myself of that.
But MADDOX is 45.
MADDOX. Yeah, so, well, there's a lot of issues with MADDOX that became more and more clear the more of that show you watch. And, I go through the whole history of this in a recent video on the Yig Studio channel, about how MADDOX called me a pedophile in a big rant he put out recently. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But this is him trying to piggyback off of this H-Bomber guy video to no success. Nobody cares. Nobody's clicking on this. H-Bomber guy doesn't know who this fucking guy is. He's not going to go watch his stupid 3-hour documentary he just made about Dick, nor his 90-minute documentary about Justin Wang, where he tries to call Justin Wang a plagiarist. Now, MADDOX could not have watched the H-Bomber guy video. There's just no way he did.
I just don't think MADDOX knows what even is a plagiarism.
No. I think he saw that there was a video blowing up about plagiarism on YouTube and went,
I did a video about a plagiarist on YouTube. Justin Wang, he's a famous plagiarist YouTuber.
But Justin Wang is somebody who, credits his sources. Yeah, he is largely just... reading you stuff that exists, but, what Justin Wang is best known for to me is being a curator. I follow him on Twitter. He retweets things all of the time. There's inherently credit given in a retweet. There are plenty of people out there who just screen cap shit and repost it. Freebooters, as they're called. I think MADDOX was even in... No, I'm thinking of somebody else who gave that the name. MADDOX knows this shit. MADDOX has been on the internet forever. He knows what the difference is between a plagiarist and somebody who's using something for parody or for commentary, because he does these things. He has quoted things. He's cited quotes. He's done all of the work that Justin Wang has done. And he tries to cherry pick examples where he thinks Justin is closer to plagiarizing and this or that. So, look, nobody cares. The internet's a popularity contest.
Everything's a popularity contest.
If you want to make someone unpopular, you have to prove that they did something that people hate more than the amount that they like that person. You're not going to do that to Justin Wang. He's one of the most beloved people. It's not that he's unbelievably famous. It's that for as big as he is, no one hates him. He's got so many popular people who
Maddox
back
hates
him, who've been... Because most people see what he does as signal boosting. Like, he's drawing more attention to all of these stories, all of this intrigue that's happening on the internet. But when he's signal boosting the fact that you're a fucking idiot, like in the case of Maddox, who he's covered a few times, Maddox gets really upset and wants revenge. So the only reason Maddox made a video about Justin Wang is that Wang has made videos about Maddox's drama, pointing out that Maddox is a fucking idiot. So Maddox tried to get revenge, and no one cares. The video has like 70,000 views. If anyone gave a fuck, it would have...
any kind of impact whatsoever.
It would have already had a huge impact because, like, 70,000 views is not something to scoff at, and the reason he got that is Maddox hadn't uploaded in, like, 5 or 6 years, and we were all wondering where the fuck he had been. So it was, it got a lot of attention, but it didn't get a lot of positive attention for what Maddox... It didn't fulfill his intentions, such that he's lurking around other people's comments trying to get more attention to his video. So that tells you how well the one about the even less famous Dick Masterson is going to go. So anyway, Maddox is such a dumb bastard. I wanted to highlight
remember this one.
Some of his worst comments. Because... So, Maddox, he's on Twitter and Blue Sky. He posts the exact same shit on both of them. And most of it is just hack. It's very, like, old hat. He always sounds like a blogger from the 2000s, which is when he was most relevant. But, like, he's saying shit that not even he said in the 2000s, that other people said, and, like, he forgot he read.
He said
and
other
now
things in the 2000s. He can't say the same things.
So now he's just saying shit other people said back then. It'll make sense what I'm saying as we go through these comments. But he starts with this insipid nonsense.
Insipid nonsense.
Have we had a single month since 2016 where we didn't have a major world event? And follow-up question, could we?
If the whole world got together and decided, let's not have a major world event for a month, it'd be like a fucking earthquake or a meteor or something.
If Maddox had money, he would
lose his money.
Buy. How he would lose his money is he would buy tits, he would buy a wig, and the wig would be like one of those swoosh. He would be a Karen. He would just turn into a Karen overnight. This just... God. World events have always been happening. What since 2016 was crazier than the French Revolution?
Donald Trump got elected.
Donald Trump was crazier than the French Revolution?
To Maddox, probably.
The pandemic was pretty big. It's a pretty big deal.
That wasn't 2016.
Pretty major. No, that was like 2020. So, like... What the fuck what between 2016 and the pandemic?
Oh, the biggest problem in the universe ended.
Oh, that's true. His life ended. Actually, yeah, the major world-shattering event that happened in 2016 was his second podcast.
His career
was a failure.
ended.
Yeah, his career took a nosedive. So, this just is... It's just... He's too old to think like this. He's too old to think... Like, this is something a teenager says. Like, oh my god, I can't believe the world has gotten so much crazier in the last 5 years. Like, no, you just got old enough to understand how crazy the world is. But overall, the world is way less crazy. Like, perpetually on a cycle of getting less crazy since World War II. Like, we reached an apex of crazy, and we couldn't go above that without everybody dying. So we just scaled it back. And, like...
less crazy
I just
for
think
everyone.
in the 90s... people were really good at lying to their kids, and all those kids are grown up now, and they're all like, oh, fuck, I was lied to. But they're internalizing it as the world got worse. And it's like, no, you just didn't understand what was happening because you were a child, which Maddox still is mentally. Which is why he's obsessed with making fun of children's artwork. This shit. Do you want to read this one, please? Give me your best.
Oh,
best Maddox.
yes, I remember that. Oh, how is there not Cheerios? Churros flavored Cheerios. Monumental fumble by General Mills. Oh, they
you banana dogs?
Yeah.
That's really good. If you had a voice morpher to make it high pitched, it would be perfect. That's so adorable. So this immediately pissed me off because I consume cereal. General Mills makes Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
But that's not Cheerios.
They made a churro version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
But it's not Cheerios.
Like,
it's got to be that Cheerios
that
flavor.
All he cares about is the name. He's just like, well, they should make a pun name. They should make a churro-flavored Cheerio because they can call it Cheerios, and that'll automatically sell. And it's like, just because something is a pun doesn't mean it's good or that, like, anybody gives a fuck. Like, they probably tried that. They probably have...
Or they will and not give you credit.
There's people whose entire job is just to sit there trying to find a new flavor of fucking cereal to sell you. They've definitely thought of the churro thing because they already did it with their cinnamon-themed cereal. Of course, he actually managed to get a response to that.
Oh my god, there's a lot.
Oh no, I lost the response. Where is it? Shit. Well, they told him... Like, we'll think about it. And he was like, oh, if there's a Cheerios, you can all thank me for it. Very proud of himself.
That's cool.
He also is talking about how much of a prescient genius he is because there was an article about how Walmart, Costco, and other companies are rethinking the self-checkouts. And,
self-checkouts, if you have a problem with them, you're the problem.
Yeah, well, his response, well, motherfuckers. Which prescient genius has been saying this for years? Now, I will say, when MADDOX brought self-checkouts as a problem and the biggest problem in the universe, I was somewhat in agreement because they used to suck. They used to have those weight sensors where, like, if you took something out of the thing, it would start beeping at you. And, it used to be harder to look up items and everything. But now... even getting alcohol is not that big of a pain.
It is in California.
It can, yeah.
Because in California, you can't use the self-checkout.
Yeah, they won't let you at all. But in other states, somebody will just usually come over and ring out your thing, like, immediately.
Just make it so you can scan your ID at the grocery store. How hard could that be? Like, why can't I do it?
I'm, like, at the grocery store all the time. I use the self-checkout all the time. We often go in for a few things. Like... If the dumb people who try to do their whole groceries in it are idiots, but they're less and less common as the years go on, and
I think it's more and more common. I think more people, especially like Walmart, people are just like using.
Well, they've started making those self-checkouts that have a belt lane and everything. And
yeah, you're right.
I think the problem tends to be more with like the machines go down a lot, and they are always like half of them are closed, and people steal really easily. I steal lots of things from Walmart because of the self-checkout lanes. They're cracking down on stealing,
apparently.
If they do that, I'm just going to stop going to Walmart. It's not worth it if I can't steal something every once in a while, but...
every once in a while.
Yeah,
I can hear MADDOX, like, talking in my head. And this self-admitted pedophile has also admitted to stealing from Walmart.
That's really funny. Yeah, it's like... I don't think... What I think MADDOX doesn't understand about this issue is that smart... customers have a better experience with the self-checkout lane. If the system is fucked up, then that's unfortunate. It sucks that people are too dumb to use them. It sucks that companies are losing money on them because those of us who like them would like to keep them. We think they're cool. And that's, I think, what MADDOX is missing with this whole issue. Do you want to do this one? This is one I think you'll definitely disagree with pretty hard.
I was going to try and do an Oxmad, but I don't have a good enough mental image of what that sounds like. If someone asks you how you're doing and you respond by shouting, woo, you'd be shunned. But at a concert, that's apparently a valid answer, and people wonder why English is so hard to learn. Is that part of your Tight 5, MADDOX? That's a joke that every stand-up comedian ever has made.
And it's... I understand making this joke about a stand-up. What the fuck are you supposed to say at a concert? Like, excellent play, Fucking, like, technically proficient up there, guys. No, I'm at a fucking show. What do you want from me? But also, if someone
Usually at
asks,
a show, my response is to, and I'm not going to do it at the volume I can do it at, but scream at the top of my lungs, yeah, or something like that.
You're very loud at concerts.
Yeah.
What pisses me off the most about this is if someone asks how you're doing and you respond by shouting woo, you will not be shunned. Where did he come up? Did this happen to him once?
Well,
when he was a kid, did he shout woo and somebody was like, oh, what the fuck? Because if I ask you how you're doing and you shout woo, I'm going to be like, yeah! Like, this is a party now. Like, I'm instantly into it, you know? Nobody has ever shunned anyone for shouting. This happens in places.
I would bet people have shunned people for saying woo, but like after a terrible car crash or something. You shouldn't say woo.
Woo! Yeah, that was sick. Everybody's like, what's wrong with you?
Or like the guy who caused the crash gets out of his car and goes woo.
Woo! Yeah,
Bad idea.
I hate this. His takes are so fucking shitty. Oh, this is the perfect example of what I mean by writing like it's 2004 and he's like an ancient blogger. I'm gonna do the voice for this one. I have to do it as MADDOX because it's the only. I don't know what MADDOX sounds like, but this is the voice of this comment. So Saw X is actually good? For a series that has been inconsistent since the first movie, they did something that they've never done before and made a twist that nobody saw coming. They made a good movie. Really surprised by this one. You see what I mean by he's a Karen? Like, just...
It reads like a text I'd get from my grandmother.
So Saw X is actually ... good? Like, okay, look. There's two options for what it can be. Good
or bad.
There's never a surprise if it's one or the other.
Well, technically, there's
good.
10 options.
I guess it was bad.
Like 1 out of 10 scale.
There's just no... Well, I mean, between good and... But he didn't say it was an 8 or whatever. Or a 500 out of 5 or whatever he gave Mad Max. Yeah, I inconsistent since the first movie. So he's saying all of them? Why did he have to... Like, if you're saying inconsistent since the first movie, just say inconsistent. Or always been
He likes using a lot of words.
They did something they've never done before and made a twist that nobody saw coming. A good movie. So he's saying even the first one wasn't good. Only this one is good. Because a lot of people think at least the first Saw is really good.
I don't think I've seen any of the Saw movies. I just look up the traps on YouTube.
Fair enough.
I just look up the traps on YouTube.
Yeah, I bet you do. If you feel like your degree is worthless, just remember, there are people who went to school for years to become scientists who are working around the clock on ways to make guys come bigger loads.
Why are you thinking about that?
Also, based?
Sure, yeah.
What? How is this wait, imagine, like... You're
I'd
at
love
a bar.
to be able to one-man bukkake someone.
What do you do? I'm a scientist. Oh my god. What do you do? Well, there's some guys who, as they grow older, they
don't come the way they used to.
They're just not able to produce as much, sperm as they once could. Oh, I see. Yeah, so we're trying to find a way to correct that, help people. I mean, it's not just for old people, I might have taken some of it myself. Just saying, there's nothing. Why would this be a diss? Why would this be like, can you believe there's people who are wasting their lives making their cum loads bigger? Those people are probably very happy. Probably get paid better than the people who are thinking they wasted their degrees.
Yeah.
Also, he wrote a ways. Around the clock on 8. It's so fucking... The whole thing is so wordy. You think your degree is worthless. Some people went to school for years just to help guys make bigger cum loads. That took me half the number of words that MADDOX used here.
That's particularly funny. I know a lot of people who went to college in our generation and the generation before me have that feeling of like, oh, my degree was worthless or whatever, but MADDOX only feels like his degree was worthless because he didn't finish it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a degree.
He literally doesn't have a degree. He cannot comment on this at all. Yeah, what an idiot.
I mean, he can comment on it.
Oh, boy. So, did not expect you to come back with a zero-effort lecture about spicy, trauma-bonded, toxic middle-aged man yaoi, but I'm not complaining. Phenomenal comment on the MADDOX lecture 2.0. So yeah, that's the show, everybody. This is our comment response show. Please send me shitty comments. Go to the Discord. Go to my Twitter. There's links in the description. Go to Picnic Adventure. Go to We Watch Anime, which is, got like 26 episodes already. If you need a ton of content, if maybe you're just discovering me through this video somehow, I've made over 5,000 YouTube videos. So
that's a lot of YouTube videos.
This is the one where I talk about drama and literature. So
commentary forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I have an ending. My sign off is fuck off.